Today's fairy tale is a scary Somali fairy tale called Dhegdeer. It was suggested to me and I'm so glad it was because it's spooky as hell. Our main evil scary character is Dhegdeer, who is a cannibal, or an ogre, or both an ogre and a cannibal depending. In most folklore from most cultures, ogres are also cannibals. The name Dhegdeer means one of the long ears, so she has like incredibly long ears in most versions, and that also gives her supernatural hearing. According to this version, a gorgeous picture book for children, her evil ways have also cursed the land and made it a crumbling dust desert, and the animals are thin and it never rains. One day, Dhegdeer goes out hunting with her hatchet, anxiously looking for food. When she doesn't find any that day, she says, "This is never gonna happen again. I'm gonna use my special powers to trap lonely travelers. Don't tired souls need water and a moment's rest?" She has a daughter, no word on the father, but she forces her daughter to gather up wood, grass, and sticks, and then she puts them together to make fake huts next to her own house. Dhegdeer also has this large vessel that she uses to contain human flesh, and she orders it to whistle if anyone touches it. Its name is Bow Deer, and obviously it says, yes, I will do that. So Dhegdeer goes to sleep, and then a woman who is a grieving widow is traveling with her chubby child, it says, on her back, and they're starving on their way home and exhausted, and so she stops when she sees the huts, and she's like, oh my gosh, can we have water? And Dhegdeer's daughter is like, sure, here's some water. But by the way, my mother is Dhegdeer and she's gonna eat you if she finds you, so you need to hide yourself for the night and you can leave tomorrow when she goes hunting. So the woman's like, oh good, glad you told me. So the daughter wraps her and her child up in this grass mat, but as she's doing that, she bumps against Bow Deer, the flesh container. The container whistles, Dhegdeer wakes up and she comes out and she's like, who touched my vessel? The daughter tries to cover it up. She's like, it was me, I accidentally bumped against it, which actually is true. But then Dhegdeer is like, I smell a fat little boy. Her daughter's like, there's no boy. And she's like, I smell a woman. And she's like, that's me. And she's like, no, there's someone here. So she starts searching for him. The daughter yells at the woman and her child to run. And the woman is first too scared to run, but she calls to Allah for help and says, please spare us. And that gives her the courage to run as swiftly as the wind. The woman comes to a valley and she's like, an enemy is after us, valley, please make way for us to escape. The valley spoke and said, if you are free of sin, I will allow you to cross. If not, I'll eat you up. But because of their innocence, the woman and her child cross safely. Dhegdeer comes to the same valley. She says, allow me to cross. The valley again says, if you're free of sin. But Dhegdeer tries to cross anyway, and as soon as she set foot on the edge, her flood of sins filled the valley and she was swallowed up. With her death, rainfall finally returns, the bushes grow again, the animals grow plump and have ample milk. Chanting fills the land. Dhegdeer is dead. The land has peace. That's the version in this children's book I found. Interestingly, in another version I saw, the woman who's running away isn't grieving and carrying her child. Her husband has married another woman and prefers her because she's younger and more beautiful and has built her this beautiful house. So she runs away because of jealousy and being angry at her man. And apparently there are other versions where Dhegdeer dies not because of her sins and the valley swallowing her up, but because her own daughter kills her by pouring boiling water into her long ear while she sleeps. The story's cool because you can see how this idea of a monster, particularly a female monster like the witch in Hansel and Gretel, of something that can come gobble up children, is all over in all cultures as sort of a fear-inducing thing. Because the idea of a female mother figure that instead of nurturing devours is the most primal upsetting thing you could argue to children who crave like feminine love and a mother's comfort so much. And if you notice the reference to Allah, that just shows the influence of Islam in Somali culture. However, interestingly, just like in most cultures, these stories seem to have existed before the coming of a big monotheistic religion. One historian said that it's in one of those earlier versions where the daughter who pours the water in the ear and saves the townspeople, even though she becomes a hero to the people, she gets cursed to become like a shape-shifting cannibalistic creature herself, which is really sad, but really cool too. As always, check out my book, Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.